Hello, my name is John, and today we're reading San Francisco, Poster Child for the Failure of U.S. Cities Blue Model. Investor Business Daily editorial, July 6, 2018. Blue Model Fail. By any standard, San Francisco is one of the most beautiful cities in the world. So why has it suddenly become an unappealing place to visit and to live? As with so many U.S. cities, it suffers a host of urban maladies. Blame the far-left blue model of urban governance, which now afflicts most major American cities. Yes, the city by the bay is extraordinarily beautiful, but that's a result of geography in the city's distant past, not of its current political class, which is about as far left on the urban political spectrum as any city in America. Many were surprised that a Chicago-based medical association recently said no thanks to future conventions in San Francisco, once a cherished favorite conference or meeting site for groups of all sorts, setting off alarms. The San Francisco Travel Association, which revealed the cancellation, refused to name the medical association involved. Perhaps it hopes to change the group's decision, but it did say that the loss would be significant, costing the local economy some $40 million from about 15,000 attendees. And apart from the shock value, this cancellation may be the very tip of a very big iceberg. The local NBC News affiliate was brutal in its assessment as to why the cancellation happened. The amount of trash, feces, and used drug needles scattered throughout the city's streets and sidewalks is making it harder to convince companies to return to San Francisco. Ouch. No, San Francisco hasn't collapsed. It's still a big city filled with nice restaurants, extravagant hotels, and wealthy residents, many made rich by the Silicon Valley tech boom. It's not poor or even struggling, but despite the superficial trappings of its tech wealth, it is changing and not for the better. That gives it much in common with other major American cities. Because San Francisco's superficial wealth masks a serious problem. As with so many other major cities, it has hollowed out. Middle-class families have fled, no longer able to afford to live there or appalled at what the city has become. The canceled medical convention was symbolic of that disenchantment. One recent report shows why. It notes that the city had logged more than 16,000 complaints containing the word feces in just 1 week. Many of those reports linked a growing amount of fecal matter on the streets and in alleys to the near ubiquitous encampments of homeless people and vagrants who have flooded in the city due to its tolerant and even friendly policies. It's a serious problem. San Francisco proudly calls itself a progressive city. It follows what writer and scholar Walter Russell Mead called the progressive blue model of governance. Yet the policies it follows, high taxes, inane regulations, petty nanny-state authoritarianism, tolerance for rising lawlessness and disorder on its streets in the name of compassion, are the very ones that have driven middle-class and working-class citizens out. Only the rich and so-called homeless who have been welcomed into the city and are a growing issue can afford to live in the city. Still, it might be unfair to single San Francisco out. A new study of census data from the 2010 to the 2017 by the online publication 24/7 Wall Street and reported by U.S. Today finds that many other major American cities are losing population to other areas even faster than San Francisco. But unlike San Francisco, none of them have a booming Silicon Valley to bail them out as their middle-class residents seek greener pastures elsewhere. Looking at the top 10 biggest net migration losers on the list for the 7 years is instructive. It includes Chicago, which lost 296,000 people, LA, 93,000 people, Detroit, 54,000, St. Louis, 40,000, Cleveland, 33,000, Memphis, 30,000, Milwaukee, 27,000, Flint, Michigan, 23,000, El Paso, 22,000, and of course New York City, 21,000. Those cities' hard-working middle-class residents are leaving rather than face growing urban decay, welfare-based poverty, loss of major businesses, poor performing public schools, artificially high local housing prices, crime, and a hostile political class that focuses on superficial measures of class leveling and equality rather than creating opportunities for all. We looked at the list and did a bit of research on our own. What we found was that virtually all of the top 10 cities on the list that had a net loss of population to other cities and states have been governed almost exclusively by liberal or far-left democratic regimes since at least the 1960s. Their problems aren't accidental, they're systematic. For years, these blue model politicians have taxed, spent, and regulated on the people's behalf, with poor or even abysmal results. That's why the massive shift of population is taking place. It also accounts perhaps for the surprising rise and success of President Trump. Blue cities lose people. As urban researchers Joel Kotkin and Wendell Cox noted in 2017, in 2016 alone, states that supported Donald Trump gained 400,000 domestic migrants from states that supported Hillary Clinton. This came on top of an existing advantage in net domestic red state migration of 1.45 million people from 2010 through 2015. San Francisco, Cotton and Cox observe, is a case in point. In the San Francisco Bay Areas, techies are increasingly looking for jobs outside the region, and some companies are offering cash bonuses for those willing to leave. A recent poll indicated that 46% of millennials want to leave the Bay Area. Meanwhile, these best and brightest have been gravitating to lower-cost areas such as Austin, Orlando, Houston, Nashville, and Charlotte. Fed up big city residents in blue cities and states, in short, are moving to smaller cities and towns in red states. It's a political transformation that complicates the Democrats' hopes of recapturing the White House in 2020 and Congress this year. The failure of America's big cities should be a warning siren to Democratic Party advocates of blue model governance. Because of the blue model's failure, America is rapidly segregating itself economically. It's unhealthy for America, unhealthy for our big cities, and unhealthy for our democracy. And it shows no signs of ending anytime soon. This video is a production of School of the Right Train. My name is John Brooker. You can reach me through commentary on this video. Please subscribe and share this video with family, friends, and on social media. May God richly bless you, my beloved.